जाए, मरो तो ऐसा तिरंगे की शान बढ़ जाए, भरो पिचकारी ऐसे तीनों रंगों की, तन पर पड़े तो हिंदुस्तान बन जाए. To be born an Indian is a blessing, and Constitution Day is one such occasion to celebrate this blessing. Mother Teresa has rightly said, God speaks in the silence of the heart. Listening is the beginning of a prayer. As we all know, no program can begin without remembering the Almighty, the Creator of the universe.
Our God, as we come before you this day, we ask you to humbly accept our prayer on behalf of our country and its government. Pour out your blessings upon this land, upon its inhabitants, upon its leaders and officials who faithfully devote themselves to the needs of the public. Today, as we celebrate our Constitution Day, we ask that you would hear our prayers and help us build a country in which all citizens will live together, walking hand in hand as sisters and brothers, and work together side by side. Help us as citizens to understand the rules of justice you have decreed, so that peace and security, happiness and freedom will never depart from our land. Uproot from our hearts any form of strife, injustice and inequality. Plant love and companionship, peace and friendship among the many peoples and faith who dwell in our nation. Grant us the knowledge to judge justly, the wisdom to act with compassion, and the understanding and courage to root out inequality from our land. May it be your will that our land will be a blessing to all who dwell on earth, and may you cause all people to dwell in friendship and freedom. Thank you for hearing our prayer. This we ask in your name. Amen.
Constitution is not a mere lawyer's document. It's a vehicle of life, and its spirit is always the spirit of age. Samvidhana Dina is celebrated to commemorate the adoption of the Constitution Day of India by the Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the year 2015 as a part of year-long celebration of the 125th birth anniversary of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Its aim is to bring awareness among the citizens of India about the importance of our Indian Constitution, which is the longest written constitution in the world. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, a renowned social reformer, a politician, is the father of Indian Constitution. Our Constitution begins with an introductory note known as the Preamble, which highlights India being a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic. Let us preserve the secular nature of our Constitution and uphold the rights and duties guaranteed to us as citizens of India. Let us now see what our younger citizens have got to say about the Constitution Day.
भाग्य में नहीं अपनी शक्ति में विश्वास रखो. I am also known as the father of the Indian Constitution. Justice is another name of liberty, equality and fraternity. Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, popularly known as Baba Sahib, and he is also known as the father of the Indian Constitution. He was born on 14th April 1891. He was born into a family that was placed very in society. Because of this, he had many difficulties. He was intelligent and hardworking. He completed his studies in India and went for further studies to America and England. He became one of the most highly educated people of that time. He always felt that all Indians should be treated equally and fought hard for this. This is an important part of the Constitution which says that all Indians are free and equal. In independent India, he became a minister in the government. A special assembly of 286 people from all over India was set up. These people had to think about what independent India should be like and to make laws for it. These laws form the Constitution of India. It contains the main laws according to which India is governed. One of the main people who drafted the Constitution was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar.
Cultivation of mind should be the ultimate aim of human existence.
Constitution Day, also known as Samvidhana Dina. It is celebrated in our country on 26 November every year to commemorate the adoption of the Constitution of India. On 26 November 1949, the Constituent Assembly of India adopted the Constitution of India, which came into effect from 26 January 1950. The Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment on 19th November 2015 notified the decision of the Government of India to celebrate the 26th day of November every year as Constitution Day to promote constitutional values among citizens. The Constitution of India was framed by a Constituent Assembly set up under the Cabinet Mission Plan of 1946. The Assembly held its first meeting on December 9, 1946 and elected Dr. Sachidanand Sinha, the oldest member of the Assembly, as Provisional President. On December 11, 1946, the Assembly elected Dr. Rajendra Prasad as its permanent chairman. The Constituent Assembly set up 13 committees for framing the Constitution, including a drafting committee under the chairmanship of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. On the basis of the reports of these committees, a draft of the Constitution was prepared by a 7-member drafting committee.
ಜೀವನವು दीर्घವಾಗಿರುವುದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಉತ್ತಮವಾಗಿರಬೇಕು.
मी अशा धर्माला मानतो जो समता, बंधुता आणि स्वातंत्र्य देऊ शकेल. Translation: I follow and like the religion that teaches liberty, equality and fraternity.
Fundamental rights and duties are the basic rights of an Indian citizen in the Indian Constitution. These fundamental duties and rights apply to all the citizens of the country, irrespective of their religion, gender, caste, race, etc. The fundamental duties and rights of the Indian citizen are as follows: right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies, right to property.
A constitution is a set of rules and regulations guiding the administration of our country. The Constitution of India is the framework for political principles, procedures and powers of government.
Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was the chairman of the drafting committee of the Constitution of India. On 26 November 1949, it was made the center of law. On 26 January 1950, it came into force. We should be very proud of the fact that a great Indian Jesuit, Reverend Father Jerome D'Souza, was a part of the Constituent Assembly which wrote our Constitution.
It is the longest written constitution in the world, containing 395 articles, 22 parts and 12 schedules. Fundamental duties. It shall be the duty of every citizen of India to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideas and institutions, the national flag and the national anthem, to cherish and follow the noble ideas which inspired our national struggle for freedom, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of India, to protect and improve the natural environment, including forests, lakes, rivers, and wildlife, and to have compassion for living creatures. To develop the scientific temper, humanism, and a spirit of inquiry and reform. To safeguard public property and to abjure violence. To defend the country and render national service when called upon to do so. To promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic, and regional or sectional diversities. To denounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. To value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. To strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. Who is a parent or a guardian to provide opportunities for education to his child, or, as the case may be, ward between the age of 6 and 14 years.
Greetings on this special day. Today in India, we celebrate Constitution Day. On this very day, the 26th of November in 1949, our Constitution was adopted by the Constituent Assembly in India. What is the significance of this event? The Constitution of India is the supreme law of India. To explain further, the Constitution makes sure that the interests and needs of every Indian citizen are addressed, whether it be a common man working in a factory, a politician, or children like you or me. In simple words, it tells us how to make laws and the way the government should rule. Very importantly, it outlines the limits of the power of the government and lists the rights of citizens. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the chairman of the drafting committee, is considered the architect of the Constitution. A big change took place after the Constitution was adopted. The Union of India became a republic, that is, a country where people elect their leaders. We've now heard about the importance of the Constitution, what it does and who drafted it. But do we really need a Constitution? We can just have laws and rules for everything, right? No. Here are 3 reasons why. 1. It is the Constitution that makes sure people get what they deserve and save them from any wrong treatment. 2. The Constitution binds us together and saves the country from any internal disturbance or external interference. And lastly, it serves as the backbone of the country and is the key to national peace and harmony. The Indian Pledge is an oath taken to remind us of our responsibility towards our country. Inspired by the Constitution, we, the students of St. Joseph Boys High School, will now recite the Indian Pledge.
India is my country. All Indians are my brothers and sisters. I love my country and I am proud of its rich and varied heritage. I shall always strive to be worthy of it. I shall give respect to my parents, teachers, and all elders, and treat everyone with courtesy.
To be motivated and inspired is great, but to be a source of such motivation and inspiration is an honor. Today we have with us Mr. J. Jnanashekar, who has worked closely as the parliamentary guide with several renowned speakers and is currently the parliamentary guide to the pro-term chairman, Sri Basavaraja Horati, and as the parliamentary guide in Speaker's Office Assembly. He is specialized in conducting model parliament and special sessions, organizing parliamentary report workshops and guided services to Karnataka legislature and Vidhana Saudha. We are honoured to have such a renowned person address us on this memorable day.
Namaste to one and all. I am Gnan Shekhar, Parliamentary Guide, Karnataka Legislative Assembly. I have been invited by this great institution, St. Joseph Boys High School, on eve of Constitution Day. But before that, I want to thank the Father Vishal as well as the principal of this esteemed institution, the Sunil sir, and having in this great institution which has a record of 163 years. But what exactly I want to talk about the Constitution when we celebrate the Constitution Day? Yes, 26th November is a very important day as the Constitution was adopted. And right now on my table we have a very big Constitution. This Constitution has an articles, then schedules, then we have parts, and we have many of the interpretations also. And this Constitution is being done by B.R. Ambedkar, then the chairman of the drafting committee. Well, on that particular day, again I'm emphasizing, that is November 26th is the day, is also called as a national day, is also called as a Constitution Day. But on this particular day, what is the significance? There we have such a Dr. Rajendra Prasad was a president, and the president says that formally we will go for a vote this draft constitution. During that time he makes an announcement that Sardar Patel is going to have an announcement. And Sardar Patel stands up and he gives an announcement that 9 states are combined together, have come and rejoined to the constitution, rejoined to the Constitution of India. That is one thing. And next, before the draft constitution is adopted, one Mr. Das, he raises, sir, whether there is a national song, Vande Mataram has been declared, whether he also says that what should be our national anthem. Then the president says, we have 2 messages. One message from Prakash, the other message was Sachidananda, who happened to be the president of the Constituent Assembly. But Sachidananda says that he is often a heart respectful felicitations to the solemn occasion, and putting the presidential seal confirms the nation's self-wrought charter and liberty. Earnestly we pray, a word of freedom that is one bit given and loyal to the Constitution, spontaneously availing ourselves the opportunity, and country should progress. And the other message, Dr. Sachidananda, he invokes the divine blessing, says that your labors may be crowned with the fullest success, and ancient history line of Bharat again stands first. And these were the 2 messages, right? Next, Algu Rai Shastri questioned whether the Constitution is a national language. See, during that time there was a great debate that the Constitution, either it should be in English or in Hindi. Then later on he said that yes, it will be in a national language. But however, English, he also, Algu Rai Shastri puts up very forcefully that the English is not a common man's language, or it is not an official language. And for this he said that the national language Hindi will be adopted. How did the Constitution came? What is the origin of the Constitution? When we talk about the Constitution principles, way back when you go to the 3rd century, Emperor Ashoka the Great, where we have adopted the 3-line symbol, the 3-line pillar. And it starts from him. He had written in edicts in a rock, he had written the constitutional principles from where we started. And next we came to, that is in 1850, in 1765, East India Company came and the taxation was made on Bengal. Next in 1765, the East India took over the whole India and the single center was Calcutta. And again it came under the Parliament. In 1858 to 1947, the British Raj was there. But during that time, what happened is that during their revolution, we see that in 1950 we got an independent India where the Constitution was adopted. But in meantime, in 1958 to 1947, Indian Council Act was there. A separate legislative council was set up to assist the Governor General. But way back here, again I want to tell you, the Mysore was the first state where in order to fulfill the aspiration of state, the seats of parliamentary democracy was laid down there. But here, it has become for a single institution. This is the Governor General that is to make in making laws. Indians were appointed at the discretion of the Governor General. Again in 1882, the largest share of the Indians were there and the principle of election was introduced. In 1908, Indian Council Act was there and member of legislative power to discretion was given. In 1858, and this is one thing. And again, Government of India Act 19, hierarchy was there. The responsible government at provincial level was given the state and the center. In 1928, there was a call of Gandhi. The Gandhi said that we had to do a constitution, and that is how it was burning. A constitution was a first principle. As soon as we got independence, the most important thing was the making of the constitution. Then later on, this continued over in 1950. We got in 1946, that is making India's independent constitution was a prime concern and a basic law of governance of India and the British, and it was therefore the Constituent Assembly was done and it was passed. This is about how the origin of the constitution came. And the next, when we talk about Karnataka, Mysore played a very important role, as I told you, in making the Constitution of India. See, it is a supreme law and it happens to be a breathing document. And see, here in Karnataka, most important thing is that we had a representative democratic institutions much earlier. But you see that in constitution making, Mysorean, Bengal Narasimha Rao was and earlier the Diwan was also Mahadev Rao. Then K.C. Reddy was there, Nijalingappa was there, Kengal Hanumantheva, they were all the members of that. But here, the three important, B. Shivrao was also a brother of B.N. Rao. And B. Shivrao, B.N. Rao, that is one thing, Mahadev Rao, they played a very key important role in making of the constitution. As I told you many a times in the previous proceedings of the debate, that what is the significance that the Mysore members, especially the Karnataka, played an important role in making a constitution. Even today also, the Kengal Hanumanthaya during his debates, he talked about the federalism, and we see much of the contribution is done by Karnataka. With this, I would like to end a small, brief talk. And thank you very much. And Jai Hind, Jai Samvidhana. Namaste.
Fundamental rights can only be those rights, the exercise of which is not only in the interest of the citizen, but that of the whole world. The original copies of the Indian Constitution were written in Hindi and English, and artists from Shantiniketan had decorated every page of the Indian Constitution. The students went on to decorate the pages of the Constitution with scenes from the country's history dating back to the Harappan civilization.
The Indian Constitution is a comprehensive guide for our democracy. It was on the 26th of November 1949 that the Constituent Assembly of India adopted the Constitution of India. It came into effect from 26th January 1950. Constitution Day, also known as Samvidhana Dina, is celebrated in our country on 26 November every year to commemorate the adoption of the Constitution of India. Our Constitution begins with the words, "We, the people." Since it was written by us and for us, it is important that we know the significance of this occasion. Our Constitution lays down justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and the promotion of fraternity. Does this matter to you in your life? Yes, it is very important even at this stage. This is when you will learn to fight for your rights and for justice, to treat everyone with respect and as equals, and to develop a sense of fraternity. When you do this as adults, you will uphold our democratic ideals enshrined in the Constitution. I thank all the teachers who have been instrumental in putting together this program and the students who have participated. May the ideals set in our Constitution shine brightly for all ages. I hope that all of us reaffirm our pledge today to follow the Constitution in both letter and spirit. Let us be the torchbearers of our constitutional democracy.
Rabindranath Tagore had always been a true champion of democracy, a dreamer, a visionary, who in most of his patriotic songs and poems craved for a truly free nation. A nation where people are not divided amongst themselves by narrow domestic walls. A nation where all citizens are treated with equal respect, irrespective of class, creed, and religion. Our Constitution embodies the dream of a nation that Tagore envisioned for us. The constitutional value of equality makes us all alike in our great country. Amra Shubai Raja. The literal translation of this Bengali sentence is "We are all kings." We are all kings of our own destinies here, and the king of all the kings of the land is our sacred constitution. Only the constitution can show us the way. It is truly the need of the hour. Long live the king, long live the constitution. Now we present a Bengali song, Amra Shubai Raja, by Rabindranath Tagore, sung by Mrs. Madhushri Baral, and the English translation recited by Mark Benjamin of Class 8D.
সবাই রাজা আমাদের রাজার রাজত্বে, নইলে মোদের রাজার সনে মিলব কি সাথে। আমরা সবাই রাজা, আমরা সবাই রাজা আমাদের রাজার রাজত্বে, নইলে মোদের রাজার সনে মিলব কি সাথে। আমরা সবাই রাজা। আমরা যা খুশি তাই করি, তবু তার খুশিতে চড়ি। আমরা যা খুশি তাই করি, তবু তার খুশিতে চড়ি। আমরা নই বাধা, নই দাসের রাজার দাসের দাসত্বে, নইলে মোদের রাজার সনে মিলব কি সাথে। আমরা সবাই রাজা, আমরা সবাই রাজা আমাদের রাজার রাজত্বে, নইলে মোদের রাজার সনে মিলব কি সাথে। আমরা সবাই রাজা। রাজা সবার দেন মান, সে মান আপনি ফিরে খান। মোদের খাটো করে রাখেন কোনো অসুখে, নইলে মোদের রাজার সনে মিলব কি সাথে। আমরা সবাই রাজা, আমরা চলবো আপন মতে, শেষে মিলব তারে পথে। আমরা চলবো আপন মতে, শেষে মিলব তারে পথে। মোরা মরব না কেউ বিফলতার সমাবর্তে, নইলে মোদের রাজার সনে মিলব কি সাথে। আমরা সবাই রাজা, আমরা সবাই রাজা আমাদের রাজার রাজত্বে, নইলে মোদের রাজার সনে মিলব কি সাথে। আমরা সবাই রাজা, আমরা সবাই রাজা আমাদের রাজার রাজত্বে, নইলে মোদের রাজার সনে মিলব কি সাথে। আমরা সবাই রাজা।
We are all kings in this kingdom of our king. Otherwise, how else would we will to be with him? We do what we please. Our joy mingles in his. We are no slaves to a despot's tyranny. Otherwise, how else would we will to be with him? The king honors all, receiving the same in return. no one has us pent up in pettiness and lying. Otherwise, how else would we will to be with him? Treading on our own will, in the end we'll come up on him. We won't be dragged into the whirlwind of ruin. Otherwise, how else would we will to be with him?
The Constitution of India, a jewel that shines in the crown of Indian nation, is the greatest gift to the modern Indian state. Our Constitution mirrors the aspirations of the Indian people and the future of our country. The document that secures the rights and freedom of the people and the destiny of our nation. The Indian Constitution, with 1,46,385 words in the English version, was drafted keeping in mind the welfare of all citizens of India, irrespective of their caste, creed, color, religion, etc. It has borrowed from constitutions of other countries like the USSR, UK, US and France, earning the name the Bag of Borrowings. We are indeed fortunate to have such a great constitution that guides us in our daily life and maintains law and order, social cohesion and progress that keeps the Indian society on a path that leads to a greater success and a bright future.
Nagraj is a 12-year-old boy who's helping his father out in the fields. It's a Sunday today, which means he doesn't have school. He helps his father, who's trying his best to make ends meet. We now see 12-year-old Ishika, who's the daughter of a rich businessman. She has everything she wants since she grew up in luxury. Her opportunities in life are vast, with her father providing her with the financial support she requires to flourish in society.
Students, you have 10 minutes left. Please ensure you finish writing on time.
Even though they come from different backgrounds and have vast differences in their schooling, both Nagraj and Ishika clear their competitive exams with flying colors. They both successfully move into the next phase of their life, that is, college. Ishika's father aids her further education with no problems. Nagraj, on the other hand, receives a government-aided scholarship and attends the same college as Ishika.
It is early in the morning. The elderly person is on her usual morning walk. She turns around the corner of the street and finds her local landlady threatening a young adult.
Have been reminding you for the third time today. If I don't receive the papers by tomorrow, you will face the consequences.
Ma'am, please, this has been my ancestral property for 4 decades and my only home.
I don't care how much this property means to you. I need the papers by tomorrow.
Now go away.
The elderly woman gets noticed by the landlady. She tries to move back, but the landlady gets hold of her.
Where do you think you're going, Mrs. Muniyamma?
Ma'am, I'm just on my morning walk.
How can I let go of you when you hurt so much? Oh lady, just keep this to yourself. I'll give you a good deal.
I've seen that young woman live here for so many years. You can't threaten her like that. I'll inform the police about your true intentions.
Just mind your own business or I'll make you suffer.
Although the elderly woman witnessed a wrong being done, she could not approach the police due to the threats of the landlady.
I'll probably start work on the house soon.
Huh? Why would you do that?
Oh, why not?
Because this is my house? Why would you have anything to do with it?
Who said it's yours? It's obviously mine now.
This was my late father's house, and now that he's no more, it's quite obviously mine.
It isn't yours. Women can't inherit property just like that. You all are incapable of it.
Amit, this property is mine. It is my birthright. My father did not leave a will, so it automatically belongs to me now.
A girl? You think it belonged to you just like that? You have no skill, no aptitude to take care of a property, make use of it. Know your place, Shweta. It isn't among men. I know your dad just passed away, but that doesn't give you the right to behave like this.
Behave like what exactly?
Like you're my equal.
Child of 13 is forced to take the responsibility of her alcoholic father's expenses. With her mother dead, she works at the nearby textile factory.
Komal! 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 Where is the money? Why haven't you gone to the factory yet?
I'll be going for work in the evening.
Get out of this house, you useless child!
Later that evening, after the interaction with her father, shaken Komal goes towards her workplace. She enters the factory and works tirelessly under her critical employer, who makes her work in inhuman conditions.
Hey Komal! Work fast or I will not pay you.
A client walks into the factory and hears muffled cries of Komal. She notices that she's trying her best not to be noticed.
Excuse me, can I get a bundle of cotton shirts?
Okay.
The client looks at the young girl, seeing a reflection of her own child in Komal. She feels pity for her and she feels a need to help her. She thought of her own daughter in her place and felt a deep motherly concern for her.
Here, have a look at the samples.
Thank
Let's
you.
go to the office.
Why is the girl standing over there crying? Is anything wrong with her?
Who?
She.
Oh, her. She is incompetent. She doesn't do anything right. I pay her too much.
Is it? How old is she?
I don't know. I didn't bother to ask.
She leaves the factory deeply disturbed.
Is this the shop you were talking about?
Excuse me, no.
Government official on duty.
The official talks to her in a kindly way, telling her she doesn't have to do this and they can help her.
She's the girl.
Oh, she is Komal. She is the one what you have reported for.
Yes, sir.
Komal, don't worry. I am the government.
Aware of the civil rights and duties of an individual. Our constitution has enlisted and preserved those moral rights in itself, which is now called as fundamental rights. The forming of the constitution was not at all an easy task. It is a gist of all the learnings which our ancestors have got from the freedom struggle, whose sole motto was to develop an ideal society. Namma Nadu, Kannada Nadu. Jai Hind.
The more you express gratitude for what you have, the more likely you will have even more to express gratitude for. I would like to extend my most sincere thanks to the Almighty for making today's event a resounding success with His blessings and grace. Heartfelt gratitude to our chief guest, Mr. J. Jnanashekar, who spared time from his busy schedule to grace this occasion. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful insights you gave us today. Grateful thanks to our respected principal, Father Sunil Fernandez, Primary Administrator, Father Vishal D'Souza, and Vice Principal, Mr. Uday Kumar, for being the catalysts that stimulate us to do our best at all times. A loud shout out to all our teachers, the technical team, and non-teaching staff for their untiring efforts in making this day a success. We are ever grateful to the students and parents for supporting us and taking part in this event with great enthusiasm. Thank you, one and all.